They told me the story, like it was a victory, like it was glory, like the widow's mite was some heroic tale of sacrifice for the kingdom that we should all follow blindly without fail. But they skipped the verses before the coins fell. They didn't read what Jesus said in the breath right before that story was fed. They devour widows' houses. For a show, they pray long prayers. And yet the system stays intact. The poor stay poor, the rich walk past, and the preacher says, "Give like her, give your last." But did anyone ask, why did she only have 2 coins to begin with? Why did she feel she had to give everything, while the temple walls gleamed with gold and kings? Why was she standing there, weighed down with babies and broken hope, tossing her whole life into a system that watched her starve and called it holy? No one preaches what happened after. Did she go home and light a miracle meal? Or did she tuck her babies in with empty bellies and whispered psalms that didn't feel real? The Bible doesn't say. And maybe that silence is the sermon. Because Jesus wasn't applauding that system, he was exposing it. Not exalting sacrifice, but condemning the machinery that demands it from the desperate. They give out of abundance, he said, but she, out of poverty, gave all she had. He wasn't praising the temple. He was mourning the widow. He was judging the altar that gladly takes but doesn't restore. And while we're at it, Christian churches, stop preaching old covenant tithing to new covenant believers. Stop using Malachi to scare people into giving as if the cross never happened. Stop telling widows they're cursed if they don't tithe, while you ignore the weightier matters of mercy, justice, and truth. You are not under the law, but under grace. Each one must give as he has decided in his heart. Tithing is not the same as giving. Tithing was about supporting Levites who had no land. It was food, produce, provision under law. But we are not bound to that altar anymore. We are called to spirit-led generosity, not spiritual extortion in holy robes. We are called to give, not out of guilt, but because we are free. And where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, not compulsion, not manipulation, not pressure behind the pulpit that threatens widows with curses and calls it faith. And I ask you this, where lies the faith of the churches of the new covenant today if they must use the widow's mite to extort money from the poor? Where is the faith that trusts the Spirit to lead giving? Where is the gospel that feeds the widow rather than feeding on her? If we must shame the desperate to pay for lights and stages, then we're not preaching Christ, we're preaching commerce. So I will speak, I will warn, I will tell the whole story, because Jesus did. And the widow? She didn't need applause, she needed justice.